my lover, my friend, then stay with me till the bitter end. Or is this our last goodbye? No more roses and wine with you.
Hello, Ala.ni, welcome. You're releasing your first record. It's called You and I, but you've been a musician for quite some time. You've been a backup singer for Mary J. Blige, for Damon Albarn. How did you make that transition to becoming a solo artist?
I think there was a desire to express myself for myself, but I also had to learn what myself was as well, and that only kind of came with living my own life and having my own experiences away from not just being on the road and singing for other artists, but even from friends and family and anything else, like delving into other creative realms. Like I did a film editing course, and I went and I did everything apart from music, and then I realized I couldn't live without music. Then it all kind of made sense and it all came together. So.
And this record is basically a love story from beginning to end that you choose to release as 4 different EPs, matching the seasons, different seasons. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Why did you choose to do that like that?
I didn't start off with that concept originally. I actually wrote a film in my head that was going to be all the songs with no dialogue, just the songs telling the story and acting, and it was in Louisiana, and I was like, I don't have the budget for Louisiana. Okay, it's going to be West London, and I planned the whole thing. And my friend, who's a film director called Martina Ametti, she's like, no, Ala.ni. She's Italian. She's like, you can't do it. It'll take you years. Take you 3 years. And I'm like, why not? So I'm going to try. No, just do the music. So I was like, okay. So that's how it originally started as a film, and then I did all the songs, and I was like, oh, there are 12 songs, and if I just release an album as an unknown artist, I won't be able to understand what I've done as much as if I break it up and kind of use it as a tool to craft what I'm about. And it really, for me, it was so enjoyable last year, having that fun, having that time to spend with my music in Paris as well. And like I had an exhibition during the summer with some of my photography that I used for a video that I made, and I was like, okay, this is how I enjoy doing music, by being a photographer.
And there's a very strong retro feeling to your music. Are you nostalgic of the past or something? Like,
I'd like to think of myself as a conservationist, like preservationist.
Okay. Not conservative though.
Try not to be. I do my best not to be. No, we have to conserve the past, I think, to know where we're going. We have to respect it and acknowledge. There's an amazing museum in Paris, in Figaro. It's the Phono Museum, and it shows you the history of music right from the beginning, from wax cylinders to now, and you're like, I cry every time I go there, because I'm like, oh my God, like the kind of, to know that music was formed like that and put into these things so people could listen to it, and the way we enjoy it now is crazy, and numbers, and it's invisible, But before it was tangible, and it's had this whole journey, but we still hopefully respond to it in the same way because it's music. We can't live without music. It's the universal dialogue. Forget anything else that's happening in the world. If we don't have music, we are beep, beep, beat.
Yeah, but I read somewhere that you actually don't really like to listening to music. Is that true?
Well, everything is music. That in the background is music or a thing in my ear. So I think when you create music, you don't want to come home and listen to it. It's kind of different. The moment I hear a song, I dissect it in my brain. I'm like, okay, I'm going to isolate the bass part. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, the bass is interacting with the drum. I don't just listen to it. It's like, yay, party. Very rarely do I get to just enjoy music or go to a gig and just be like, yay. It doesn't really happen. You scrutinise everything, so your brain is working overtime. So that's why I don't really listen to music. If I want to relax, I watch comedy or films and stuff, or just sit in silence. That's bliss.
And maybe it also prevents you from, you know, kind of copying other artists.
I mean, nothing's new. Everything's regurgitated and taken in. But how you process it, if I listen to too many things, I start to be too influenced by that. Or, you know, even if I do singing lessons with a certain teacher, my voice will start to sound like that teaching. So I always just, you know, say for doing a yoga class, I start then being like those people in that class. And I'm like, oh, no. I'm very much like that. I do a little bit and then I'm like, okay, I've got to lead myself somehow. I take a bit of that and a bit of that and try and mix it together to make me. You know.
And you talked about singing lessons. Your voice is amazing. It covers as much as 5 octaves, I think.
Not 5. At one point, I could, like, I was squealing like a pig. I used to have a Swedish flatmate that, when I was singing, sometimes she'd be like, "Oh my God, you sound like a piglet." But less now, because I've kind of worked on other parts, or age, whatever comes and stuff, or, you know, doing things like maybe smoking, stuff like that. But no, I mean,
but you can still go as high as, you know, you did the cover like in the studio earlier. It was amazing. We were wondering like where you were going to stop, and actually you don't. You go, you know, higher and higher, and it's pretty impressive.
It's weird. As a singer, it's like I've lost at least an octave in my voice, but the tone that I get, that smoky tone, I'm like, the payoff is...
It kind of balances
it will balance out. And, you know, who needs to sing that high? Who's going to hear me? The dogs?
It's not a competition.
I'll be just singing to the dogs. They're like...
You had a pretty amazing year in 2015. Your EP's got very good reviews everywhere, and you've done quite a lot of gigs. What can we wish you for this year?
Health. And to be alive.
Okay.
That's all I need. As long as I'm alive, I'm good.
Okay.
No, I just want to kind of spread what I've done out of France now and just keep on. I'm really looking forward to touring and taking the music to other parts of the world. Like, I really want to go to Japan. Cherry Blossom, I think, will just make a lot of sense in Japan. And just, you know, like I have a plan and a structure, but... And the people I work with too, we're all working so hard to kind of, you know, raise the level of it. But there's also something beautiful about letting the music just guide itself. Because as long as people hear it, I believe that someone's going to like it. So it's just about getting it out to the right audiences, you know.
It's been working out pretty well so far.
Yeah, so I trust that, you know. It's maybe a slow road than going, let's target there and let's collaborate with this person and do this and money. And I'm like, it's cool. Like, we don't all have to do music like that, you know.
No, you don't. Well, good luck and thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
And we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.